Greetings and welcome to episode 618 of FUT in Review Extra Time. 30 minutes of epic ultimate team goodness. I'm your host Chris, known as Grandpapa Mac, and as always I'm joined by my co-host and good friend John. Today we'll be diving into the progress of the Euros and the Copa America Path to Glories, discussing all the latest developments and standout performances. Plus we're gearing up for our summer break. We'll be taking a pause from official episodes. Don't worry, our Patreons won't be charged during this downtime. And speaking of breaks, John is heading off for a well-deserved vacation after today's show. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the world of FUT. Let's first of all say hello to my good friend, the Duke of DDA, the Uber coach, the man who is desperate for the Netherlands to get through at the semi-finals. It's my good friend John. Hello, my friend.
Hello, buddy. Duke of DDA. You had to do that one, right?
Always, mate, always. And my good friend Marius, who I think you'll be seeing soon, would agree with me.
yeah, one more week though from there. So
I'm
yeah,
sure it'll not be
definitely.
long coming, mate, will it?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And well, after a year like this, I definitely could use a little break.
Definitely. I mean, I won't spoil our Euros discussion, but do you think you'll be watching the final in Crete with the Netherlands playing?
No, I don't think so. If I'm honest, we
Okay.
could like if we are lucky on the schedule right now, but I think the match versus Turkey, I'm a little bit worried about that one. Because if there's one kind of team the Dutch usually don't do well against, are the teams that fight hard. If that makes sense, Portugal, the former Czechs, Turkey, those teams usually we don't do very well against because we're too nice, and we did like we used to have like in the young kicking people in midfield. We don't have any players like that except Wout Weghorst, but he's not going to do that in midfield, eh? So.
No, definitely. So we'll get to the Euros. We'll talk about it as well and how that actually compares to the game at the moment. But I think we need to talk about the content. We're missing our content man. The Harry Hula, unfortunately, has been called off to work. So a big shout out to our good friend Ingve. And unfortunately, you're left guys with me to try and do the best to talk about Path to Glory, the knockouts.
Well, and me, but me and content don't go very well together. So there's that.
Well, I was going to ask you, John, how does the upgrades work? But I know that would be on a loser there. So I'll quickly tell you if I can find it. So, folks, this is how the upgrades work on the knockouts. Win 3 games, you get a playstyle plus, or a 1 upgrade for goalkeepers. Win the quarterfinals, which is a 1 upgrade. Win the semi-finals, which is a 1 upgrade or a 5-star skill moves and 5-star weak foot. And if you win the final, it's a +1 upgrade. Now, I had a quick look at this. It says win 3 games is +1 upgrade for goalkeepers. Well, if you win 3 games in the quarterfinals, you'll actually, if my calculations are right, you'll actually win the whole tournament, which means you'll win the final anyway. So you actually need to be a winner to get that playstyle plus or extra upgrade. Now, please, John, tell me, have you looked at the team?
No, I've not. Like I said last week, I think this is the disadvantage of running your own company. Like these weeks are mental before you actually take a break from things. So I haven't been able to actually boot up my console at all, let alone actually take a day. But I needed this podcast to actually make sure I kept up with the content. So yeah, I'm pretty useless tonight. That's why we invited Ingvi on a Friday usually. But no, my team's behind. I'm not touching the game myself. I'm quite honest. I am looking at the team currently, of course. I wouldn't be that daft, but I mean, all these cards are madly good, though.
Well, let's start with the Euros, John, because that's that's currently on at the moment. So just for the people that look behind the curtain, it is 7:15 here UK time. The game between Spain and Germany is 1-1, with looks like a few minutes to go into the extra time, so it could be heading to penalties. The question you've got then, John, is I'm looking at the price of cards just now, and you pick one out at the moment, which is Havertz,
10 million.
10 million for a player who could get no more upgrades in the next 15 minutes or the next 25 minutes if it goes to penalties. Would you be gambling 10 million coins on that card?
I mean, never, ever, ever. But even if this card does not get upgraded with 4-star, 5-star, high, medium, and all the stats in 99, it's still a good card, right? I do think that 10 million just is way too much now.
Okay. So
I mean, I don't even have 10,000 coins left, so for me, it doesn't even matter, but still.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the team at the moment, and you've got Sane as well. He's there. I'm trying to see who the right back is. Jesus Navas as well, but he's a lot cheaper, so he could be going out. And I'm sure I've seen Danny Olmo. May have missed that one. So at the moment, we've got 3 cards. It looks like are in danger of not getting. Well, at least 2 are not getting upgraded. 1 for Spain. But I think the star of the show is Cristiano Ronaldo. Certainly in his own mind, if you watched the game that he played last week. I mean, I was surprised he didn't take goal kicks. That's how bad it was getting at one point with Cristiano Ronaldo. So at the moment, 15 million for that card, 97 rated. They've got a very difficult game against France, which I think is tonight, actually. Yeah, it is. They play France tonight. That card's 15 million. I know you said you've got potentially 15,000 coins here, John.
But even if I had 50 million, I mean, at this stage of the game, Chris, there are so many cards that are really, really cheap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just enjoy those cards. If you pack some card like this untradeable, that's fun. If you have the coins, right, it actually at this stage of the game wouldn't hurt you either. It's not getting much better than this, anyways. But I'd wait until after the match at least.
No, I mean, we can be critical of EA. Let's be honest on this show. But do you think there was anything they could have done? I mean, last week they absolutely blew us away with the content that was out with the icons. I mean, that was just in the heroes was just amazing. It had been very difficult to keep that going. So do you feel a bit sorry for them, the fact that they've maybe got to do this promo and the timescales involved?
Nah, like honestly, it's always hard if you do Path of Glories well, and you know when the release comes out, the matches are actually played, right? And there's not much you can do about it because you can't change the time schedule and you can't change your release schedule either. So all you have to do is make the initial cards as good as you can make them. So the 97 is probably, I think, as good as you can make them, considering the upgrades that are possible, of course. And those cards look awesome. Honestly, I think they do very well. We're looking at the SBCs that are there. I mean, all good. Yeah, I mean, we didn't even mention Lico Martins finally getting a card this week as well. So, yeah, I I don't think it's bad, honestly. If you have time to play and you're still enjoying this game, which I know many are, and normally I would be as well. I think it's definitely still good promo. Yeah.
But could EA have done anything differently than put cards like this? I mean, there was no really any more icons for them to put out. What else could they have done, in your opinion? Was there anything they could have done for a promo?
I don't think so, honestly. Like Copa America is still halfway through, right? Or no, it just started basically. Yeah, so no, I find it hard. You can't really do the footies one yet, or you like. All I wanted to start is a different mode, so you can sort of start it new. This is the next best option, and to be honest, I think, at least as far as I can talk about content without with my knowledge, I don't think it's bad. No, I think it's the maximum they got out of it. They balled it 1 week, perhaps like the second week for the Euros, but no. Do you feel that way though? That it has to be different now?
No, I don't
Even
think
upgrades are look pretty decent. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's much they could have done. I think they maybe went a little bit early with the icons. This could have been last week's promos, and the icons could have been this week's promos. Or
Still
could
plenty of icons, just the
yeah,
two though. I mean,
players of the tournament. John, as I say, we are critical of EA at times, but I think they were kind of between a rock and a hard place. Is there any cards from your point of view, looking at it, value for money, Delict? I was going to ask you there, John, is there a great difference between a 95 rated player at the moment and a 97 rated player?
Nah, like honestly, you look at details at this stage of the game, right? These cards are better than the cards that had 2 playstyle pluses. The rest isn't that much different either. So I think all these cards are fun, like the Licht. But if I look at, I mean, the Harvest card is overpriced, right? But if I look at Fulkrug, for example, we don't know at this stage if he actually goes through. But 96,000 for a 5-star weak foot, 4-star skill move striker, which all the stats in the right places, 99 reactions and even 98 composure. You talked about the Licht, right? He's not even playing the Euros, but he's about 1 million. That's top-notch defender, and he could get upgraded, right? But you talked about the Jesus Navas card, for example. He's rising as we speak. But I think even if that card costs 200,000, then it's still a really good center or a right back with the option to play right midfielder and 4 playstyle pluses. And that's why I said I would rather spend 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 on cards right now than 10 million on one card. But if you look at the cards that came out in the last 3-4 weeks, including the SBCs that came out and very cheap, looking very good SBCs, if you have 1 million or 2 million, right, you can build a really excellent team that doesn't hold much towards the 50, 60 million costing teams, I think. So no, I don't think that's much different. But you know me, I never think too much about those plus ones or plus twos anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. No, and let's talk about the Copa America. I mean, I think, to be fair, from a European point of view, it's been difficult to follow the Copa America because the games are on through the night. From a UK point of view, you're looking at 2:00 in the morning. I'm sure it's even a bit earlier, later for you, John, as well. They did actually play one of the quarterfinals already. Argentina beat Ecuador on penalties. Messi missed the first penalty actually in that one. So Lo Celso and Nicolas Gonzalez are actually due a +1 upgrade. And the Ecuadorians, Kevin Rodriguez, he's actually out of the tournament. So that card is fixed at that rating already. And this is what I'm saying. I feel a bit sorry for EA in terms of timings for that. As I say, is there any cards in there, John? They are a little bit cheaper, I think, probably just from a name value. Looking at it, you've got a few cards there. None of them really breaking 1 million coins, to be honest with you. The highest one, I think, is Douglas Luiz at 700,000, 96 rated CDM, Brazil, who've got a particularly hard game, finished second in their group, and they're against Uruguay on Sunday morning, I think it is, Sunday morning or Monday morning. So I wouldn't be so confident of Brazil doing well and getting through there. From your point of view, you're a quick look there. Is there any cards that stand out, or just again, it's much of a muchness?
Talking about Uruguay, I'm not sure, but I think the Jimenez card, center defender, is also a Path to Glory card, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's 40k or something.
Yeah, 40,000.
So honestly, just take a bet on that one. They got a pretty good team, anyways, and why not? And that one, if I look at the stats, like he's got all the right playstyle plus his 40k. If you told me a month ago there would be a card worth 40k, Chris, having every single stat as you would like, and plus slide tackle, intercept plus, aerial plus, and block plus, that would be nuts. A month ago, we paid 1 million for a card like that. But wait, even more, I think. So Dijk levels, right?
Yeah.
So 93 rated. I don't care about the rating in this situation. That's why I say that some of these cards, even in the Copa America like this, insane value. So I think the Jimenez card is one of those awesome card. And talking about Uruguay, there's the Palestri card. 94 rated right winger, 4-star now currently. Mm-hmm. Also very good card, 50k. Also a possible upgrade. I would bet against some of the bigger teams because we've seen in both tournaments now that none of these teams are flawless.
Yeah.
We have had some surprises already, and Argentina went through on the skin of the teeth, right? So, yeah, I would go for those scores.
Okay.
Of course, I wouldn't mind packing a day ball either, right? So
no, of course not. But, and just finally, and it is part of a Friday contract that we've got here at FUT Review, that we must review any Liverpool player that's coming up on an SBC. That is one of the things that Ingvy's put in place when you join.
This time we won't have to hold back though.
Well, I'm not going to upset my good friend, so you can do that. You know, especially with Arne. Is Arne Slot, you say, your ex-Feyenoord manager's now taking over at Liverpool
today. Yeah, or
so,
which first press conference today, I think. So,
Diogo Jota, he is a SBC. He is 96 rated centre forward. As I say, tonight Portugal play France. He's about 827,000 coins. Looks really good, to be fair. Got the 4 play styles that you'd be looking for. A great card. Not had particularly great Euros. Been coming on for substitute. Any thoughts on that card, John?
Well, okay. I don't want to go there, but honestly, a 92 rated squad, another Liverpool SBC. It is another Liverpool SBC, and I don't want to sound offensive against Liverpool, but it's getting kind of still, in my honest opinion. We get a lot of Liverpool SBCs. And still, if I think you can get the Puskas card from free, and comparing this from 800k SBC in July, I'd skip him. I think there's 2 people that will do this SBC basically, not because the card's bad, but because of the value. I think it's Ingvi and Jota himself.
And they're good friends as well, I think. I think they play co-op together. So.
Also, I've met him, so don't shoot me, Jota.
Nah, but again, I mean, as you say, it's a Jota card who's not necessarily had a great Euros, has he? I mean, I don't think so. Is it because he is part of esports you think he's got in there?
No, I think just Liverpool's very popular on this game, and I mean, rightfully so. They Premier League always does well. But I nationally here, I'm just going to keep count how many teams get special cards, I think, in SBCs, because I feel Liverpool got a lot this year. I've got nothing against Liverpool at all, but it's sort of, if it stands out to someone that doesn't care too much about content, I think it stands out, right?
Mm-hmm. No, of course it does. I mean, we've entered silly season. I know I joked on the earlier podcast.
Almost, though.
Summer holidays. I think we're near there. I mean, I don't know what footage is going to look like.
If we get the pink cards down and silly season.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy because it's going to be 99 rated cards, isn't it? I mean, some of these cards are going to be 99 rated anyway. You've talked about the Puskás card. I think he's 98 rated already.
We got a 98 rated the ball card for 1 million. So, I mean, we're nearly there anyways.
Mm-hmm. No, of course, it's going to be, it is, we're at that stage of the season where the game is fun. It's going to be strange in a few months' time to go back to, being delighted that you've packed a 84 rated Kyle Walker right back in your team, and that's made your
Jumping
team.
your seat when you get 82 rated left back Mendy.
Exactly. Even now you'd be happy to get that. You don't see him that much. But John, as a coach yourself, as we move away from the content, what would you tell our listeners to try and practice now? Because let's be honest, results matter, and I'm not going to. I know you and I talk about giving away free wins, and you're against that because you train people to win. But at this point of the game, what would you be telling people to practice?
Well, it's funny you ask, though. We had some discussions on the Discord community, of course. Check it out. It's free, just for the review. But there's some things in FC24 that will be back in FC25, or there's been some things already in this year that came back from previous years, right? Green time shooting, not necessarily free kicks, that changed a lot. I think precision shooting will still be in it. And practicing those skills or practicing certain skill moves is never a bad thing, especially when you're sort of worn out on the game or you know it inside out. Try to add something now that you might be able to incorporate at the start of the new season is always useful, I think. So what I usually do is I focus on one skill move that has been decent or very good in the past years, and I try to perfect that even more. So I start with that in mind for the new game. And we don't know anything about the new game, of course, but I don't feel like unless they really changed things up, and I can't see that happening, they change a lot of skill moves either, for example. Although green time shooting is, I think, a skill that makes a lot of difference. And if I would recommend anyone that has not mastered green time shooting currently, I would go for that. Because I think that's the biggest win you can get that's in your own control.
So can I just ask you, John, people may not realise this if you haven't seen the video, I am of the older variety of player. I know I do sound young, and I may look young, but I'm certainly not young.
Well. Yeah.
But green timing is something I've tried. I mean, I'm actually moved on to the two icon thing. I've managed to move away from just having the single one. If I was going to practice green timing, how do you start by doing it? What's the best way to try and do it?
Well, just to make sure everyone knows, green time shooting is something that's been in the game for a couple of editions now. And what it does is if you activate it in the gameplay menu, it means whenever you shoot and you tap the shooting button for the second time, so the first time you shoot, it takes a normal shot. If you tap the shooting button again, it will time that shot. So you will hit it with more precision, right? The timing of the shot is dependent on the player and the stats of the player, right? So Messi has quicker shots, for example, than usually a Ronaldo does. What happens is to practice it the best, you look at the player's foot, at this actual animation. You shoot, and when the ball's about to get hit by the foot, you shoot for the second time. You press shoot for the second time. Because the animations are so different, and because of the fact you actually look at the player's animation, like the actual player animations, I would recommend not changing too many of your strikers while practicing this. Because if you're used to a player and you get used to taking green time with it, it will become sort of second nature green time it after a couple of tries, weeks, days, whatever, matches, that it becomes second nature for you. You don't have to look anymore. It's just a feeling you get with a player. But if you do keep swapping players out for totally different players, it's going to be harder. Also, Spain just scored the winning goal in the 120 minutes. So there goes your full crook, I think.
I am going to watch the Havertz card as you're talking, John, telling us about green time shooting there. I'm watching the Havertz card plummet.
Yeah. But that, yeah, I mean, you can practice in skill. You can practice in squad battles, of course, which you won't get pressured while taking a shot. I think that's a good way to start if you really want to get this mastered. Just start in squad battles. Make sure every shot you take is green time. Look at the player's animation. So you shoot, you touch the shooting button the second time about when he is about to touch the ball, and take that into online mode and just keep practicing, keep shooting, try making that second, like just keep going at it. It's not that hard, if I'm honest. It just takes a little bit of perseverance while practicing it. And there's no better time to practice it than in city mode, city season.
Yeah, because you can, I'm right in saying, John, even in competitive mode, put the trainer on for green time shooting, which I've tried in the past. But you would suggest not using the bar in the trainer mode, but actually watching the animation of the player.
Well, you can't use trainer mode, of course, on online sessions. But there's that in Rivals or League. But the bar works right. So when you see the bar on top of the player's head and you do it, you see a little meter and you see red, green, or gray. And there you can time it as well. But I've noticed, and that's what we've been practicing as well and teaching, is that if you just look at the animations, it's much easier to actually explain to people. You tap it when you're about to hit the ball. It's much easier than look at the bar when you take a shot and you have to press it second time when it actually hits the green. It makes far less sense, in my opinion. So I would go probably in that way. I think it's more beneficial than anything else currently. And it is something anyone can master. We've had all kinds of levels trying it, and we've had all kinds of levels players just mastering. And I'm saying I'm an old man and I have mastered it as well, I think. So if I can do it, anyone can as well.
No, that's great advice, John. That's great advice. And, you know, again, for people who are thinking about the Discord, it is free at the moment. We are going to take a small break. well, John deserves his well-earned vacation. We may put the odd show out there, but the Discord will still be popping. There'll still be lots of advice in there. There's a lot of good players in there as well. You've got Artyom, who's a coach, going to answer your questions. So it is free. Check us out on the discord.com FUT review. And if you want to support the show, we appreciate it. We appreciate all our listeners, but if you want to go that extra mile, look us up on patreon.com /FUT review as well. Just finally, John, and it was a post you had actually put on the Discord just as we go into the last 5 minutes of the show. You'd said that FC24 is actually mirroring real life football. I wonder if you could maybe just explain that to us.
Yeah, I said that. I think I slightly hinted at it 2 weeks ago or something when I did a last show here. So I've been looking at the Euros. I don't know the stats on top of my mind currently, right? But I had stats gathered from knockout phase of the Euros, and I looked at the numbers like how often does a goal get scored from a cutback, so from the sidelines or from the back line laid back. Well, most goals were scored that way, or at least most attempts came in that way, and the higher probability of scoring was that way. We saw wingers scoring quite a lot, but when they score, it's usually got inside and go for a shot, usually finesse shot in the far corner. We saw corners. I thought something like 88% of all corners in the group stage were taken short first, and then into a second incoming man, and then go for the second post or first post, most second post as well. Exactly the moments after we did at FC24. So in FC24, we've been saying cutbacks are too strong. Well, that happens in real life as well. It's just the most efficient way to score. Wingers score too much with finesse shots. Well, exactly what happened in real life in this tournament. And we saw corners being actually very strong. We saw Turkey score 2 headers this week from 2 corners, and they didn't get too much chances offside. So set pieces actually make a difference this tournament as well. And I found it funny that either all these players play too much FC24, or FC24 is actually far more realistic than we thought on first hand.
No. And you'd mentioned something as well about pressure as well, John. I mean, this has been, for my opinion, as a Scotsman, and I wish Wimby was on because he's a follower of lower league football. There is a tendency to get the ball into the box, into the mixer, as we say. You know, even the Germany goal tonight was scored with a back post header knockdown, and we love that here in the UK. But you're talking about pressure. You've noticed that there has been quite a lot of high pressure as well, haven't you? I mean, that's a complaint I've got about the game, but you've seen that in real life football.
Yeah, as well. So we saw Spain bringing that to a different level. I think also Spain was the only team so far that felt like they were playing club football. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they are more of the let's go press high, get the center backs on the midfield, and at least try to get the ball back as soon as possible. We saw Austria doing that very well. We saw multiple teams trying that. We saw Portugal doing that as well, actually, although they didn't have like the final thing in the box to finish that off. But they definitely had the capability of pushing high. So I think you see that a lot. It's harder to do in real life than it is in FC24, obviously. But if done well, it's definitely something we've seen a lot. And if you look at how to play under it, I think we also have a question about that. How to play out of that is there's basically 2 ways. Either you move the ball forward, you go for a ball over the lines, and with fast forward, like you see France doing a lot if they get pressured. Or you do it the way, for example, the Dutch tried it, Germany tries it, is use your goalkeeper. Play it back to the goalkeeper, put your fullbacks wide, put your wingers wide, and then go for an opening that way. I think that reminded me a lot of what we said this year in FC24, where I kept saying, if you want to get out of pressure, just use your goalkeeper, play back, wait until the player comes towards you, and then open up on the sides. I found that funny to see as well. So there's a lot of similarities with what we've seen. Like, what we're analyzing during the Euros and what we've been analyzing during FC24 this year, there's a lot of similarities, I think. Even the mistakes with the center backs, and even today we saw, for example, Rudiger make some mistakes while being pressured. Pretty funny to see in that situation.
Mm-hmm. No, and John, it's a bugbear of mine, but I have to say you've helped me out this year. It's all about patience, keeping the ball, a bit of confidence, as you say, and retaining possession. For that point of view, and before you go away, and we'll let you jump about left, right there, as you know you Dutchies like to do. I'm sure you're getting to get your orange t-shirt on and your flares already, and what a sight it is! It's absolutely amazing to watch. Your player of the tournament so far, the player that's impressed you the most.
I wanted to say Musiala, of course, impressive. Jamal, been pretty outstanding to see. 16 years old, obviously. I would be a bad fan, but I also think Hanchko had played a terrific tournament. Really stood out. I don't think we can keep him at Feyenoord anymore after the tournament he played either. And Gapko at the Netherlands just shows that he is he feels properly like Arjen Robben this year already. I very much appreciate that. And one player that doesn't really stand out, but if you start noticing him on the analysis, I think is Rabiot from France. People we always joke about his mom, apparently, right? And I did a tweet this week saying, "You've seen how important he actually is for the French team." But he doesn't do much wrong. He's always present, big, strong guy, good character. But my highlight of the tournament so far is Conte.
Right.
I think it's impressive that he went from Chelsea to the Saudis, and we didn't actually see much from him this year, right? I mean, I didn't. I don't see any matches coming past or anything like that. Coming back into the national squad and actually make everyone forget about the fact Pogba would normally be there. I think that's thoroughly impressive. So we'll have to wait how he does tonight, obviously. But Conte has been my surprise or revelation is maybe not the right word, but the standout player for me, yeah. But mostly midfielders, though.
Yeah, no, I think it's a big part of the game. I mean, for me, I think he potentially is the best midfielder in the world. Is Rodri? If you look at players that actually run, he's probably done less running than any player in the whole tournament. But he is in the right position. He wins the ball. He strolls about the game like he actually owns that middle of the pitch. There's very few midfielders. I think you look at the attacking players and say that's the one you'd want, but actually Rodri just seems to knit everything together. Keeps a calm head. Having young players in the team as well, certainly seems to have helped. It's helped them tonight. They've went through 2-1 against Germany. Hopefully, we've not spoiled that for anybody who's listening to the show now. Carvajal's been sent off as well, and Morata and Fabian Ruiz were booked, actually not been on the pitch as well. So it's been quite an exciting end to it. No, I think Rodri for me has been one of the most exciting players. But I've enjoyed watching Slovakia. I think the Georgians were absolutely amazing to watch. Especially the fact you can consider that Scotland, I think, finished 9 points ahead of them in qualifying. Yeah. Unbelievable. So no, I've really enjoyed the tournament, and I know I'll wind you up in the Discord about the Dutch, but as a Rangers fan, we hold a special place for Dutch football, and I do really hope that you go through, mate.
I mean, we're lucky with the actual route we now have in front of us. Like I said, I'm worried about Turkey, but after that, we're looking pretty good actually to get into the finals, right?
Well, we won't insult any of our English or Swiss listeners at the moment.
Oh, the Swiss.
I take it you won't be on next Friday. That one doesn't bite you.
No, I'm not there next Friday. Don't worry about that. No, I think it's fun to see some of these young players take the lead. Even if the Dutch, talk about Dutch, right? Schouten, for example, from PSV, or Reinders from Milan. I mean, if you watch Serie A, Reinders isn't a surprise for anyone, but they had 100% passing accuracy, both of them, against Romania. No matter how bad your position is, 100%, it's impressive, right? So, yeah, I'm very impressed by some of these guys. But I'm very much enjoying the tournament. Wish I see more of the Copa, but there's so many hours in a day, so
no, definitely
can't do more than that, right?
Well, I can see that the referee is putting the whistle to his lips. Is there anything else you want to add before we close the show tonight?
No, just a little bit of housekeeping officially, of course. So we're taking a summer break. That means normally we do some shows. We try some shows. Last year, you did the seriously fun summer series with the Discord fans, which was amazing to do. But usually I have to edit the shows. And I just decided that this season or this summer, I'm just going to take a really a proper break.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to sit there with headphones with 40 degrees Celsius on to try to get a show out. Also, we know how bad the internet in Crete can get, so I'm not going to put myself through that. So we decided to take 4 weeks off after this one, so proper 4 weeks. So when you're listening to this, it's probably July 5th, July 6th, something like that. Also, happy 4th to all US listeners listening to us, of course, now. And we'll be back in the first week of August, like properly around August 5th as well. And you said, and Daniel said, we might do some shows during that time. Those shows will go out. Those shows will go probably out unedited and consider them bonus shows. Right? If they come out, they come out. But we're going to enjoy this summer. The Discord will be there. But what we did with the Patreon is something else this year. Patreon was kind enough to say, you know what, we can close it off for a month. So everyone that is paying doesn't have to pay or doesn't count for this month. And everyone that wants to join can join as a free member, but cannot sign up as a paid member. So that means a free member can't get the exclusive content, but will be notified if there is any content. Well, we're just basically not charging anyone during the month of July until I'm back at least. And I'm going to properly tune out of FIFA for a while, I think. Did you know we've analyzed over 800 matches this year?
Wow, that's amazing, mate.
I'm just like, when I close my eyes, I still see FIFA matches coming up in data. So yeah, I just need to see some sun, sea, and beaches, I think.
No, definitely.
And maybe some tequilas.
No, mate, you deserve it. Wishing you to have a lovely, you and your family have a great vacation, mate. I know you're going to a wonderful place and you'll be well looked after by our Greek brother there and Marios and his family. So I'm sure it's going to be absolutely amazing. So have a great time. To our listeners, have a great summer. Whatever you're up to, if you're still playing FC or FIFA, have fun. Enjoy the Euros, enjoy the Copas. We've loved having you this year and we'll see you next season. Just one thing left to do, and that's
two things left to do, actually. Because I forgot to mention that during my absence, the special Creed show, which we did in the stadium, of course, will get released. And that might be released with a special appearance and a little something from someone during that time. So we're not completely gone, though. So keep an eye out of that.
Will do, my friend. Will do. Are we ready to do it now, then, before you think of something else?
We're definitely ready to do something else, because I already hear the whistle. Chris, it's time for us to...
Drop it.
Drop it.
Drop it.
F-U.
T.
F-U.
T.
F-F-F-U.
T.
F-U. T.
T.
T. Interview.
T.